Welcome back, punters, to another episode of Tipster. On my right side, I have none other than Mick Gannon. How are you, Mick?
Good day, mate. How are you, mate?
I'm all right. How is the Autumn Carnival going for you, mate?
Yeah, it's been good. Last week, day one of the championships was fantastic. It was a hard day to find winners. We got a couple of each way specials lobbed second. That was heartbreaking, but a couple of winners, so it was good.
Yeah, look, I've got to tell you, I thought last Saturday was one of the hardest days on the punt in a long time. Not for some. Some in here were crowing. I know you were crowing. You had a great day, but certainly I wasn't. It was a hard day for me at least, but hey, you've got to be happy when this sort of stuff's going on. We've got the big duel this weekend with Animo, the Queen Elizabeth's going. It's all happening, isn't it?
Yeah, the Animo Dubai Honour duel, the
yeah.
Poms or the Irish, whatever
happening.
they are, from the other side of the world versus Animo. One of Australia's, weight for age, Jenkins.
Yeah, look,
it's
Star.
pretty enormous. Cannot wait.
Star versus Star.
You got the Japanese horse over there. Was it the Flying Unicorn or something?
Yeah.
It's going to come along.
That's another one.
Could dominate as well.
It's all happening, certainly is. And hey, I noticed too, All In has a new intro. What's going on there?
Yeah, finally, you blokes have put your hands in your pockets, deep pockets, and got us an intro. And Louis and Dino are very thankful for that. Louis' profile has just been lifted.
They both never looked better, by the way.
Yeah.
But anyhow, of course, you've got the big show that dropped for week 2 of the carnival, or day 2.
Check it out, punters. If you haven't checked it out, definitely check it out, because I am confident we have found plenty of winners for you there.
And I note you managed to comb your hair this week, Mick, which is fantastic.
I got a haircut.
We're actually going to donate a comb. But hey, what about this episode? Of course, as always, we reveal the best tipsters in Australia. Why can we say that, Mick? Why can we say that we reveal the best tipsters in Australia?
Well, because we've been validating tipsters since, 2009? There you go.
Every media expert you can think of.
That's it. We don't cherry pick, mate. We don't just take, we'll just take a bit of his and a bit of his. We take them all. And look,
we don't get the stats from another site called the GTA too.
That's it.
So we've got them all. But the great thing is too, punters can come on our site, professional punters as they do, put themselves up against them. You can get them all here. So we tell you who's the best star each month here on the show. So we've got that. We've got some great names popping in to give us early mail. Nick Ashman.
Yep.
Cam Luke from SEN.
How good.
And also some punters. So hang around, great episode, few other bibs and bobs, mixed moral at the end. Don't go away.
Here we are, Damo, tipster of the month overall, including the tipsters, mug punters, pros, and media.
Yeah.
And probably fit into a couple of those categories there. And on top there, we've got Mystic, 79% profit on turnover. Wow, fantastic. And Mystic, prolific on Twitter. Bit of time on Twitter and just dominated the month of March.
Yeah, look, she's, as you said, very active on Twitter, actually donating half of her. So obviously if you come first, beat the media tipsters, number 1, big honour.
Fantastic.
Gets $500, shares in 1,000, gets 500, sharing half of that, or not sharing, donating half of that to the Starlight Foundation, which is a great cause.
What a star.
So, hey, get behind her. If you go to her page at thegreattipoff.com, so type in Mystic, you'll see a donation link there, and you too can jump in. What a great cause.
Love it.
Lovely to do. Hey, should mention that Mystic is a big fan of Bill Bento and follows him. Now, Bill's, for those you don't know, you should Google it. There's actually a page we've got on Bill on the site. He's one of those legend punters. I think he's at about 12% profit on turnover, which is phenomenal.
Is that all?
Yeah, that's it. That's what punters think. Is that all?
That's it.
You're winning in double digits. You're an absolute gun.
Yep.
And Bill's probably the best punter in the world, one of at least. I think we've got one in Australia that probably rivals him. Anyhow, very big inspiration for Mystic. I'll tell you what, she's on her way to getting closer, that's for sure. Those sort of numbers, 79% pot,
incredible.
Outstanding at 748.
Incredible stuff.
Yeah.
Up you go, Mystic. You're a star. Well done. And Martina in second, 56% profit on turnover.
Yeah.
Average price $11. Oof, that'll do me.
Went
Too
nuts
good.
at the Cheltenham Carnival and the hurdles. One thing I like about this guy's profile is doesn't tip much.
Yep.
But when he's tipping, he's I was going to say, who's on the till, but his hand's on the till. He does well. And look, the best way to know when he's tipping is just type his name, Martina, or his alias into the search bar, hit the follow button, follow the prompts. Next thing you know, you'll get alerted every time his tips drop.
Yeah.
So very good indeed.
Super stuff. And we've got statistical, obviously, data man, and you've got a pro symbol there suggesting that he's spent plenty of time on these leaderboards and dominating. Average price $3.43. Now, I'll tell you what, to average that price and have a profit on turnover of 49% is, well, that's nothing short of impressive.
Strike rate almost 1 in 2. That's the sort of thing you've got to do at that price.
Which is very hard work, because they're the areas that I work in, the $3.40, $5 range, and to produce something like that at 43% strike rate, that is super stuff.
And does do as you just said, he does have a formula.
Yep.
He's been on this top 5 board at least twice before.
Good stuff.
Yeah.
Not easy to do. And in fourth, our very own Nick Ashman from thegreattipoff.com. It's good to see Nick up there. He joined us probably a couple of months ago now, and he's doing some great stuff. He has a tip package available every Saturday, so make sure you jump on and grab that. But it's good to see Nick up there, isn't it, mate?
We'll talk more about Nick a bit later in the show. In fact, we're going to have a one-on-one with him, quick one, and get some early mail from him. But just getting an insight into how much work Nick puts in, absolutely no surprise. He's the #1 media expert in the country. Yeah,
outstanding. We've got Dodd about there in 5th position, profit on turnover at 45%. 101 tips, that's a very, very impressive effort.
Yeah, another gun. It's funny, you can go to his tip page and have 5 tips one day, you have 1 the next day. And basically, he's got a formula or a criteria. If there's no tips on the day that meet it, not betting.
Gotta love it.
That's the sort of place you want to follow.
Well, that's it. This is the game. You can't force it, and that's Dodd Bet's a classic example of just not forcing it, and the bets will come. So up you go, Dodd Bet.
And you don't get that pro symbol unless you're sharp over a period of time.
Super stuff. That's our top 5 for tips of the month overall.
There we go.
Here we are with tips of the month of media for March, and Nick Ashman on top. No surprises to see him dominating. We will catch up with Nick later on and hear more from him. And in second place, Cam Luke from SEN. Good to see Cam up there. He's a good fella and domominating down an SEN track land. And he's got an early mail tip for us, so hang around because he's going to give that to you. And I've got to say, you do a bit of stuff with the SEN boys. You've come across Cam at all in the flesh? Not in the flesh, but have spoken to him. Was lucky enough to get on the phone to him the other day, and as our last leg of the multi got absolutely reamed by J-Mac, and we didn't come up with the goods. But I tell you what, no stress. It's stuff Bonja. Yeah, this is Bonja for life. No, but Cam's a good bloke, and plenty of the guys I work with down there get along with him. He's one of the better judges. So good to see. There's plenty of good judges down there. Speaking of good judges, Shane Montgomery from RSN. Shane's a gun. I mean, I don't know if you remember, I'm going to show my age a bit here, but I remember the SMH form guide when there was probably only 1 of the 2 form guides around at the time, or at least free ones. He would, he'd be doing markets back then and giving you tips and saying, back him at this price and that price. It was called Monty's Mail or something like that. I think he still does it, SMH. Up you go, Monty. And he's obviously RSN as well. He's a gun as well. 192 tips, so that's a very, very good effort. And in 4th place there, Chris Camilleri, racing.com. Good to see Chris is always on Twitter, giving his stuff out, racing.com, getting his tips out there on the weekends. Yeah, and Top Sport too. Top Sport does some stuff there as well. Top Sport. Yeah. So you can see him around a bit. Up you go, Chris. And Glenn Ingram, RSN, 27% profit on turnover. Yeah, Glenn puts out a few best bets here and there, but geez, I tell you what, you often see him pop up on the daily leaderboard, the one on the GTO that updates every 15 minutes to tell you who's winning on the day. I see that pop up on the homepage, and I think he's at it again. Here he is again. No surprise to see Glenn on there. Well done, guys. Absolutely super effort for the month of March. Yeah. All right, folks, as promised, we've got Nick Ashman here, the #1 expert tipster in Australia's racing media as we speak. Nick, how are you, mate? Good. Great to be here, Damo. Yeah. Lovely to be in the studio for the first time. Really enjoy reading the website, and not so much my articles, but just great to see you guys evolve over the last 10 years. I remember I first met you down the RaceNet days back in 2011. Absolutely. So really good to be here with you in person. Yeah, you're a bit greener there, mate. I was very green, wet behind the ears, as the 12th man used to say, but things are straightening out a little bit, not too much. Wife and kids will do that though. There we go, certainly. Hey, and talking about what you're seeing on the website, one thing you would have seen is some great stats. Nick Ashman, highest profit on turnover in March. He's only just come on board at the GTO, so what a way to start. But
look, what we've learned about Nick, there's no surprise at all. I mean, the amount of work you put in, Nick, we're just absolutely gobsmacked here. Before we get into your big early mail tip for the second day of the championships, wanted to ask you, if you had to say, what is that one thing that gives you an edge? What would you say it is, I guess, that sort of produces the results that we're seeing?
Look, to be honest, I don't think it's one thing, Damo. I think it's just, I've been fortunate in my jobs with Sky and Racing.com and Fox and 9 and 7 and that, to be given opportunities on so many different levels as a form expert, hosting, mounting yard expert, even crunching data post-race on sectional stars and looking at sectional times. So to be able to do all those things at a professional level gives you a very rounded view. So whilst the form experts are just looking at the form, I might see something in the yard. Whilst the yard experts are just focusing on horses in the yard, I'll see something in its form or in its data. So those opportunities I've been afforded has been a real blessing in disguise, and that rounded view, I think, probably helps me out, whereas most of the people I've been working with over the years tend to, not unfortunately, but they get sort of pigeonholed in their areas, and I've just, probably because maybe I'm not that good at one thing, jack of all trades, master of none, as I always say, but that does sometimes pay dividends because you get to see things that some people miss.
Holistically, look, that's interesting. And look, we certainly see it, Nick. I mean, we try and contact you, you're at the race course, you're at track work, you're walking the track, you're talking to jockeys, you're talking to trainers, and we don't even know what goes on behind closed doors when you're doing your form analysis and so forth. So we certainly get that. Look, I guess give us a bit of an example about how you bring all those sort of various components together, how that edge sort of manifests itself, I guess, if a recent example maybe.
Yeah, well, look, I mean, obviously you do your review and look at data, but I'll give you an example. I'll give you a losing example because I don't want to pat myself on the back and give a winning example, but Osipenko ran in the George Ryder Stakes. So I looked at him in the run and even in the mounting yard, he was very fresh and up on his toes, and he wasn't beaten that far by Animo, and I thought, well, he's obviously got his fair share of ability. Now, he goes to the Doncaster and gets a run bog track. He needs a dry track, that horse. But they're the types of things that you can sort of kind of see in the run. So you're blending your form analysis, you're blending your sectional data, and then you're looking at them in the yard or in the run. And just bringing that all together helps give you a real idea of where a horse might be at in terms of its class, and then hopefully you get an edge on the market at some point in time. Doesn't always pay off, but when it does, it's very, very sweet.
No, look, we know that. We know it's about the numbers and getting the percentages right, but that's exactly what you've done in March, and I'm sure the punters are eagerly awaiting what we're about to get from you next, which of course is the earliest mail you're going to get from Nick Ashman. For the big second day of the championships. What have we got, Nick?
All right, lucky last race on Saturday, the Sapphire Stakes. Now, I do think hypotheticals are decent bet around the $9 mark, but I'm going with the Curtis-trained Dalcini at $51 here, Damo.
There we go.
She's only had 3 third-up runs in her career. I'm just having a look down here at my screen. 2 starts ago, she ran in the 2 preps ago at third up, she ran in the Kembla Grange Classic. She was beaten in 1.5 lengths. Second in that race was Hope in Your Heart. Was 4th in a Doncaster on Saturday. Goes round and be a big chance as well in the Queen of the Turf. And then last preparation was beaten 1.5 lengths in the Mona Lisa, a listed race up at Wyong. I think she'll be better suited given her racing pattern at Randwick than those tracks. And boy, oh boy, I tell you what, $51. I've been tracking her this preparation in the yard. She was up on her toes first up. Second up, she ran really good sectionals through the line. I think she'll peak on Saturday. I think the 1,200 metres is right up her alley. A little bit of cut in the ground will be perfect. Soft 6, soft 7. Just bet all day. I think she'll be a great bet.
Those markets will be open now. Of course they are, because you've just stated the price. So that's not from the futures market.
No, $51.
$51, the get out stakes. That's got to be one. Geez, you want to have an early trickle on that one, and anything goes wrong, you've got that sitting there at the end.
Well, if it goes right, you mightn't see me for a while.
No, I was talking about before that, mate. I mean, that's your get out stakes tip. But there we go. I mean, there's some great, that you sort of blended all that stuff together, sectionals and various other aspects. Obviously, the run against Hope in Your Heart and so forth. So, hey, here we have it. Nick Ashman, early mail, Dalcini in the last race at Randwick. $51 currently paying. Not sure it'll start like that, but we'll find out. But thanks, Nick. Appreciate you coming in to give us that insight. And punters, Nick Ashman, go to the site, put his name in the search bar, and you'll land on his page, get his package, premium package for Saturday. It's good stuff. Yeah, Mick, as we said, I've got an early mail from Cam Luke from SEN. He's very enthusiastic too. So have a listen to this, punters.
Hey, it's Cam Luke. Hey, crew. How you doing? SEN Track. And, of course, I'm here in the SEN Track studio where I spend Monday, Tuesdays, Thursdays, and, of course, Saturday with the best horse racing in the country. Pretty nice month of March, actually. And thank you to the crew. A couple of shout-outs over the last couple of weeks. I normally give a little bit of a tip here, but what I'm going to do here, Cleveland will win the Sydney Cup on Saturday. I think most certainly. I'm going to give you one for Warrnambool. Ballex won the Stevie Pateman train. I think he can win the Galleywood Hurdle, which might be one of the deepest Galleywoods we've seen in recent times. And, of course, as we get a little deeper into the spring, I'll continue to find some futures bets as well. We love the great tip-off here at SEN Track. This is what we do each and every day. If you haven't listened, make sure you tune in. I'm here with the best in the business. David Taggart, Campbell Brown, Sam Hyland, Miles Fitzner, the creme de la creme of tipsters here at SEN Track. So you keep doing what you do, we'll do what we do, we find winners. Chat soon.
All right, so that brings us to the end of another tipster, Mick. Now, of course, here we are a few days out from day 2 of the championships. And on reflection, I was thinking about the Queen Elizabeth last year. Do you remember how that ran?
I certainly do.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Let's have a look at it.
One of the rides of the autumn.
Oh, Nash takes the big risk. Got to love it, right?
Yeah.
Goes wide. And obviously, it was a bottomless track.
Yeah.
Was it heavy
Well, for those who don't know, the outside rail at Randwick, if you can get there, is fantastic. It's just the place to be on a heavy surface.
But massive judgment, right? Obviously,
Huge.
loses ground going out there, but makes the call. Look at that,
enormous,
almost a length in the end. So that's Nash brain, of course, which is just out there. My question is, obviously, it's been interesting, right? We've had rain at the start of the week.
Yep.
Looks like it's going to be fine from here. Do you think where do you think the track's going to land? Do you think we see similar feats this weekend?
Oh, I don't think so, mate. I think that the weather is finding up now. We're on a heavy 8. There might be a couple of other showers, maybe 3 or 4 mils. As you go for the rest of the week, we'll probably start into between a soft 6 and a heavy 8, and I think we'll see a track that plays pretty fair, as long as we don't get rain on day. The rain on day last Saturday was a disaster. If we don't get rain on day, the track will play pretty good, and I think everyone will get their chance. If the rain does come or on anything worse than a sort of a heavy 9, I do believe that they won't be running Animo, so that'll be end of Animo. Potentially, it could be end of Animo's career in Australia as they head over to the UK. So it'll be interesting to see what happens there, but it's a great day of racing nonetheless.
All right, so there we go. And, of course, that probably leads me to the next question, the old mixed moral.
Yeah, absolutely.
Where are we going for that one,
Mate, do you remember what happened to last mixed moral? How'd it go?
I don't know.
Well, you only remember the losers.
I
it lobbed, and it's won by 6.
I'm normally prepared for that.
It's 1 by 6. Anyway, we're going to go to the
until you
provincial
did.
championships. We're going to go to Kayobi. Horse that was very, very good at Gosford, wasn't suited at Gosford. We did tip this up in the All-In show, so hopefully you got a bit of that on Monday. It's around the $4.80 mark. It's open. I suggest it probably starts closer to $4. It put a hole in a horse called Audette that came out and won. This horse sat 3 wide and won at Warwick Farm. That's probably the Quinella horse in the race. It's around $12, but Kayobi's the horse you want to see. It balanced up at Gosford about the 100-metre mark. And was very, very impressive for the last 100 metres. Had a recent trial, I think it was, and pretty good as well. So the horse will be winning, I'd say, with even luck, and it's a great bet around the $4.80 mark.
$4.80, there we go. That's not too bad.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
one of the great bets.
All right, well, hey, that's the end of the program. And, of course, as always, don't forget, hit the little bell button here on the YouTube channel, the little bell you see beneath the screen. Then you'll be alerted every time the show drops. That's the best thing to do. And, of course, you'll be alerted when none other than the All-In show drops. Yeah,
if you're not subscribing, you're a mug, because that show will come out. We'll produce plenty of winners this Saturday. And then last will be our final show for the autumn. Next Monday. That will be out Monday, so it'll be good to go. Make sure you do go to all your podcasts or your local podcasts, Spotify, Apple, etc., and check out the All-In. That way you can listen to it in the car, and you don't have to listen or watch poor Dean Watling's face for the entire 20-odd minutes. You can just listen to his beautiful dulcet tones.
And as always, tell us what you think. Tell us what you want to see. Of course, the comment bar, we welcome your comments. If you want to see more of something, less of something, tell us what you think of the intro to the new intro for All-In. I'd be very keen to hear your views on that. And of course, just to finish off, good punting for this weekend. The Championships Day 2. What a great feast of racing for punters. It's just a great day. So enjoy, do all the right things, gamble responsibly, and we'll see you next time, next month here to look at the April tipster of the month.
Until then.